everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. Also, thanks to those of you tuned in on the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. And so, yes, I am right black with another story. Listen to this. Now, husband arrested for hit and run murder of his wife, who was found dead along the state highway, according to police. Please make this all make sense. Tony McClelland and his wife, Angela McClelland. They were supposedly inseparable. Well, I guess until this happened. And so the woman was found dead on the side of the road late last month in Minnesota, just a few miles due east of the Mississippi River. A terse press release issued by the local sheriff's office later identified her as the victim of a hit and run. Now the deceased woman's husband has been arrested on suspicion of murder and vehicular homicide. Angela Marie McClelland, 49 years old, is believed to have died as a result of being struck by a vehicle. This is what the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office said on June the 26th, the day after her body was discovered at the intersection of Legend Lane and Killian Road in Fort Ripley Township, a small community of some 600 residents that's home to a tiny city of the same name with less than 100 residents. Okay, it has to be a small town with the sheriff's office being called Crow Wing. Please pay attention. And so anyway, they say that Angie was in contradiction in terms of what sometimes she was a contradiction in terms of that. Sometimes she was shy and quiet, and other times she was loud and eccentric, and often the center of those that gathered around her. Now, this is what they wrote on her obituary. They also say people naturally flocked to her. And so Angela McClelland hailed from the smaller city. She is believed to have been struck and killed sometime during the early morning hours of the Sunday in question. Now, the woman's body was originally spotted by a passerby who thought that there may be a body lying in the roadway off of State Highway 371. And this was approximately 5:41 a.m. on June the 25th, according to the press release. And then in a follow-up press release, law enforcement asked for help from witnesses or anyone who may have seen something that they thought was suspicious in the area. And then after just over 2 weeks with the case, deputies arrested the victim's husband and booked him in the Crow Wing County Jail. Tony James McClelland, 47 years old, was arrested at around 8:30 p.m. on Monday and is set to be charged on counts of murder in the second degree and criminal vehicular homicide, according to the sheriff's office. Now, they say the death occurred about 2 weeks ago, and investigators have been working on the case, putting the pieces together to the fatal events leading up to the death of the victim. Both the husband and victim lived together in their Fort Ripley home. So local sheriff's deputies and investigators worked alongside the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to identify the alleged perpetrator. Now, details of the investigation, however, are currently scarce. They don't have a lot of information or details or whatever. Law enforcement has not shared a potential motive for the alleged murder. Okay, before she married her husband, she grew up in the natural paradise of Embarrass, Minnesota, according to her obituary, where she developed a love for hunting. Okay, well, we don't need to get all into that. My condolences to her family, nonetheless. But so they say she married Tony McClelland on October the 20th of 2011 at the Little White Chapel of Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, from that day on, just as they were in courtship, in marriage, they were inseparable. Tony and Angie loved to travel and spend time out west and to take leisurely cruises, either by road or by water. Together, they spent time relaxing around campfires in the summer. They hunted the Northland in the fall, enjoyed ice fishing in the winters, and maintained a beautiful home as the flowers grew in the early spring, according to the obituary. Well, they make it sound like so, fanciful and so romantic and all of that, like they were just living their best lives. But clearly that's not what was going on if he hit this woman and left her on the side of the road, as if she was just roadkill or something. So obviously things were not what they appear. Now that's just my opinion. Okay, if he actually did this as he's been accused. Now, the 4th of July was their favorite holiday together with friends and family. And on this 4th, not one firework will shine as bright in her absence. That's what the family said on her obituary. So, I just think this is all really crazy that people are doing all these egregious things to the people that they supposedly love. I mean, the grandmother who hit her own grandchild with the car and then fled the scene and went on the run for a whole month. And then you have this husband who is accused of taking his own wife's life and just discarding her on the side of the road. This is all crazy. What is going on with people? I mean, do you all think the venom has anything to do with the foolishness and the nefarious things that are going on? Because I have so many questions. I mean, we know that there's always been crime, there's always been a loss of life, and people who just don't care about other people's lives and don't have empathy or sympathy. But the fact that so many people are doing these things, there seems to be an uptick in people doing these things to the ones they supposedly love. I'm just trying to figure out how any of it makes sense. All very egregious. But anyway, please drop me a comment to let me know what you think about this. At the end of the day, it seems like a whole lot of spiritual warfare is going on. Like seems like there's a dark cloud of wickedness just hovering above the United States. You all don't feel the heaviness of it all, and all of these stories we keep hearing about, and all of these shootings occurring, people getting shot at graduations and churches, outside of their own front yards. I mean, just anywhere. It's just all really crazy to me. But anyway, I can't make sense of it. Until next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.